Last House to me is love.
Last House was essential.
Last House basically gave me my life back.
This place made me employable, it gave me a life.
What the Last House means to me is family.
The Last House is a new hope.
I truly believe no matter what happens to me in my life, I can always come back to this house and feel accepted and loved.
My name is Clayton Ketchum. I am the founder of The Last House. I started The Last House in 2010, and we opened up in a quaint home in Beverlywood. And since then, we've grown into a nationally recognized sober living and transitional program. I started The Last House because I wanted to create an environment that was healing, that challenged clients and really brought a sense of community and brotherhood.
I think, for all of our clients in recovery, that your world gets very small, and then you come to The Last House, and slowly through support and accountability, your world starts to get a little bit bigger, and providing activities that get them into the community, that get them to have fun without drugs and alcohol is an important part of the program.
My name is Dustin. I'm the program director at The Last House. I've been with The Last House since 2021. Before I came to The Last House, I was incarcerated, and my mother made about 1,000 phone calls to find the right program. She found The Last House, and I felt right when I got on the phone. About a week after I graduated, my mother passed, and I lost her to the disease of alcoholism. Before she passed, she would always tell me that I needed to be helping others. I carry that with me every day, and I use that as motivation to help these young men.
What differentiates The Last House from other sober livings is our emphasis on community. It creates a brotherhood of sorts that allows for the residents to be vulnerable with each other, to practice their interpersonal skills, and that can translate into the clinical work that they're doing as well into their relationships, their lifestyle, their valued living, and really allows them to build a life worth living.
I think at The Last House, we give clients the tools to utilize within our community to really build a new person, build up their esteem, find purpose, direction, and create a life worth living.
We're all different ages, we all come from different walks of life, but what brings us together is that we're all on a common journey, trying to save our lives. Going on this journey with a group of guys really creates a bond that can't be created elsewhere.
I've been to many sober livings before, and when I got here, it was just like a totally different vibe. My first day, someone made me a burger. They're just like, "What's up, bro?" It was just like a really good vibe compared to other places I was at before. Everyone's just on their phones, but here, I walked in and I instantly just felt like love.
I think the secret sauce here is the community. Anytime you come to The Last House, day or night, you're probably gonna catch a graduate here making a sandwich or sitting down with a new guy reading the book with them. Our graduates sponsor guys here and kind of help relate to them and walk them through the process. And I really think that that's unmatched, and you don't really get that other places.
I had been through a sober living in the past before, and there I experienced a couple of friendships and kind of bonds, but it didn't mean that much to me. And here it's I was around a lot of these guys all the time, 24/7, going to the same meetings together, having dinners together, having real conversations with them, being vulnerable with them. That allowed me to get close to them. And that's something that I've really looked for my whole life, is being able to connect with people and have meaningful relationships.
It's the people that make or break it sometimes. It's having those friends to come home to after a long day, to vent to get on the same page with, because it's key for me to remember that I'm not alone in any of this.
At The Last House, the brotherhood is really the reason why I stayed. Because, in my mind, I always look for a way out of uncomfortable situations. And the growing up that was being asked me to do here, the responsibility that was being asked of me to take. Being a drug addict, I wanted a way out of that. But this brotherhood is what kept me here. I can almost describe it as, I was in the military before I came here, that there was This idea of we're fighting a war for our lives here together. Like, a lot of these guys came in just as broken and desperate as me, and we bonded together to save our own lives. And the laughter that we have here, you know, I never thought I'd laugh that hard being sober, and I found that here. And that's why I stayed, and that's what gave me the motivation to keep going through these challenges in growing up.
You know, when I walked into the last house, I was evicted from my apartment. My car got repossessed. I literally was living on the streets for a month before I came here. Seeing where my life was then and where it's at today, 9 years later, I have my family back in my life. I was able to have my older brother get sober and go through the program and graduate, and I give my life and my heart to this program. Nowhere else I would want to work or even be at than the last house, because it has truly transformed me from homelessness to having a purpose in life.
Life is real, life is up and down, and I can't do it on my own. I need to have mentors, and I would tell myself that this is the kind of place that offers mentors, it offers brotherhood, it offers companionship, and all those things are vital.
Another cornerstone of our program is our weekly groups. We have a super group on Wednesdays. That's where we go over issues in the house. We have graduations, applications. That's kind of where the magic happens, because that's where clients hold each other accountable, and really it carries a little bit more weight when their peers are giving them feedback as opposed to staff or their parent.
I think another thing that makes Last House different is that it thrives off pure accountability and pure feedback. Something completely different happens when you hear it from a friend as opposed to staff.
It's like the frat house with accountability. People are always pulling each other up. Sometimes it goes great, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's what we need in the moment. So I'm happy that I was able to find a brotherhood that really looks out for my best interest, whether I know it or not.
It's not just we're friends on a surface level sort of thing, but it's about really pulling each other up. But I feel that because we're all going through the same sort of structure together and we're pulling each other up on things, I think that we come together a lot as a house.
I started contributing to something that, you know, was actually helping me, that was actually saving my life. And when that started to become second nature, you know, I really started to feel like I was a full functioning adult.
It's just the structure of this house. It makes you get into the solution. It makes you take action, the types of actions that turn you into a man. And that was it for me.
It's crazy. The other day my mom told me, she was like, son, you inspired me. You went through so much, like, because she knows where I was at like 3-4 years ago. And just the fact that I'm like here and I'm like alive and doing well, it's one of the greatest gifts, bro.
Something magical happens when a friend is telling a friend that they need to take a look at something, as opposed to somebody in an authority position. And we find that to be very effective here. I always say that we can't guarantee the results at the Last House, but what we can guarantee is while somebody's at the Last House that they do the work. And I have yet to find somebody do the work and not have success.